Good day, viewers. This is Tech Mag TV News. My name is Stephanie Truter, and these are the headlines. Russia suspended from UN human rights as Zimbabwe vote against the move. 2021 O-level results to be released this week. Failure to compensate white farmers will result in Zim debt ballooning, IMF warns. And now in our top story, Zimbabwe was one of the few countries that voted against the United Nations move to suspend Russia from the UN Human Rights Council. The move to suspend Russia from the international body that promotes and protects human rights around the world was necessitated by the transcontinental country's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has claimed thousands of civilian and military lives. The suspension was endorsed after 93 countries, including Western and some African countries, voted for the gesture. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe and 23 other countries, including China and few African countries, voted while the 58 were abstaining. South Africa, Mozambique, Namibia, Botswana, Kenya, Lesotho, and others. Russia invaded Ukraine in February, and since then millions have fled the war-torn country into neighboring countries. The UN resolution to suspend Russia from the Security Council comes on the backdrop of growing calls by the different countries for an end to the senseless war. The Russia-Ukraine war has been heavily condemned by the many world leaders who have implored Russia President Vladimir Putin to call for an immediate ceasefire to restore order. 2021 O-level results are to be released this week. The Zimbabwe School Examination Council says it will release the 2021 ordinary level examination results this week. In a statement, ZimSec refuted claims that it had delayed releasing grade 7 ordinary and advanced level results, but had maintained the normal time frame for their release. An examination body said that there were COVID-19 disruptions in the opening and closing of schools throughout the previous year, leading to a delay in starting exams. The December 2021 and 2022 advanced level examination results were released on April the 5th, 2022, and the ordinary level examination results are to be released this week. Meanwhile, this year's A-level results come 3 weeks earlier than those of the 2020 examination. Zimbabwe's failure to compensate white former farmers as per agreement will result in the country's public debt bulging, the International Monetary Fund has warned. The Bretton Woods Institution also warned the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe's failure to fully compensate for losses incurred when the country embarked on currency reforms will exacerbate the situation. In the 2022 National Budget Statement, Finance Minister Mutlinyube stated that the country had an external debt burden of $13.7 billion. In July 2020, the government signed a deal with the white former farmers to pay them $3.5 billion in compensation for improvements on farms taken over for resettlement under its often violent land reform exercise. The latest comprehensive 2022 article consultation report said the country's consolidated debt was now projected at $19.3 billion, which would further constrain its ability to access development funding. Government's agreement with white former farmers evades a 50% down payment within 12 months and a full payment over a period of 48 months thereafter. Government has so far paid $250 million towards the compensation by providing shares in Kuvimbi Mining Company to the displaced farmers. The remainder of the compensation, about $3.2 billion, is yet to be funded. And now in our regional news, anti-immigration movement Operation Dudula launched in Durban. Hundreds of Operation Dudula members had marched through the streets of Durban demanding that the government should take strong action to deal with the high number of illegal immigrants. The protesters sang and chanted anti-immigrant slogans under the watchful eye of the police. They then proceeded to Police Point Station, where they handed a memorandum with demands. They called for government action to address the issue of undocumented immigrants alleged to be involved in various criminal activities. The rise in anti-immigrant sentiment once again is mostly low-income South African communities, also known as township, and has left immigrants and refugees fearing for their safety. Operation Dudula is a splinter group from a faction in the South Africans First Movement, an organization that first popularized and renewed anti-immigrant campaigns on social media before finding express on the ground. The movement is led by 36-year-old Nhlanhla Laksumini born Nhlanhla Pablo Hlauli. And now, in our international news, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan ousted as country's leader following the vote of no confidence. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has been ousted as the country's leader following a vote of no confidence over allegations of economic mismanagement and mishandling of the country's foreign policy, bringing an end to his tumultuous term in office. The parliamentary vote held Sunday saw the former cricket star defeated. The opposition needed a minimum of 172 votes out of the 342 member assemblies to oust him. The vote of no confidence was backed by an alliance of politicians, including more than a dozen defectors from Khan's own political party. The vote took place after Pakistani Supreme Court ruled Thursday a decision to block a previous vote of no confidence against Khan over the allegations of economic mismanagement, saying it was unconstitutional. In its decision, the Supreme Court also squashed Khan's earlier order to dissolve parliament and call for early elections, calling it of no legal effect. The Speaker of the National Assembly will now send a notice to Khan and call for a fresh session of parliament to elect a new prime minister. In an address to the nation Friday night, Khan repeated unverified claims that the vote of no confidence was the result of a foreign conspiracy connected to the United States. Sunday's vote marked the latest escalation in a crisis smoldering for weeks, with Khan already having lost the backing of key political allies and the country's powerful military. Khan's ouster comes just short of 4 years in office, and there are now concerns it could raise the risk of political instability in the Southern Asian nation. And now in our technology news, Twitter CEO Elon Musk will not join the Twitter board. Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who recently bought a large stake in Twitter, has decided not to join the social media's company board. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal tweeted that he believed that this was for the best and they will always value input from their shareholders, whether they are on the board or not. A Twitter spokesperson confirmed Musk's decision not to join the Twitter board and referred to Agrawal's statement. The development comes about a week after Twitter said in a regulatory filing that it plans to appoint the Tesla and SpaceX CEO to its board for a term that ends in 2024. Musk recently disclosed he had purchased more than 9% stake in Twitter, making him the company's largest shareholder. When the news of his board appointment broke, Musk tweeted he was looking forward to working with Parag and Twitter board to make significant improvements to Twitter coming in months. In recent weeks, Musk has suggested on Twitter that the platform does not allow enough free speech and said it should make its algorithm open source. He also polled his followers last week about whether they want an edit button, a long-time feature request, if a device of one from many Twitter users. This has been TechMag TV. Thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe as we keep bringing you more top stories. And we'll see you next time.